it's a lot of weekly grading if I give weekly homework and things like that. And it just got to the point where it was absolutely unmanageable with that many students to keep on top of what I was doing and to be able just to take care of things like getting ready for the next exam and keeping up to date on all of my homework grading. So Moodle has come in handy because it has allowed me to use the quiz function, the quiz activity, to use it as a homework so that my students can go in and do the homework on their own. Moodle grades it all and puts it all in the grade book for me. And so it's a huge, huge time saver. It's something that's maybe not so good if you have more subjective things that you need to be grading. But because most of my quizzes are entirely objective, where the students have a certain vocabulary list or a certain grammar task that they have to perform, it's a really easy way for me to get through that, but also make sure that the students are getting a little more practice and a little bit more review. So I'm just going to show you an example of one quiz and a couple of the ways that it's set up and how I've been using it in my classes. So this is my Moodle page.
So you have your own server?
Yes, I have my own server. I haven't really talked to anyone at Mokwon yet to set it up for me. And so, anyway, because I haven't had them set it up, it's all up to me. And I just realized I should probably put this on so the poor people in the recording can hear me. So, okay. This okay for the recording? We're good? Okay. So this is one of my classes. My class is using the textbook New English Upgrade 2, which you can see at the top. If I go to the first chapter, I put all of the listening files up for them so that they can listen at home and do some more listening practice if they need to. And then after we're finished the chapter, I put the answers up so that they can go and check any extra activities that we didn't cover in class. Sure. I could if my online. I've turned my internet off. Sorry, but they're all MP3 files. When you click, a little player will upload. The stream will load, and when it's finished, just click play, and it's the same as using any MP3 player. Okay, so the quiz introduction would look like this. Answer the questions. Remember, capitalization and spelling is important. And they get 2 chances. You can set the number of tries that a student can get from 1 to 5 and then unlimited. So if you want people to do some preparing for an exam and you want them to have lots of review opportunities, you can set it to unlimited and they can keep trying until they get all the right answers. Or if you want to limit it, as I have done, you can also do that. That's an option. You can see that students have tried this quiz 276 times total. And so this is what it looks like when you create a quiz. I've called it homework number 2. And this is the introduction here that I showed you on the other page. And here's your options. You can set a date for it to start and finish. So if your homework has a due date, then you can close it on the day that the homework is due, right down to 5-minute time blocks. So I close mine right before midnight. And that's all they get to do. You can give them a limit of how much time they have to take the quiz if you want. You can force them to wait between trying it. And there's some other options here as well. If you're going to use quizzes as a quiz, you may want to shuffle the questions or shuffle the options inside the questions so that students aren't cheating off of each other over someone's shoulder. I'd give them 2 chances. You can allow them to just change the wrong answers if it's building on the last attempt. I take only the highest score, or you can take an average or the lowest score or whatever you want to do. And then there's this option for penalties, where if they get the wrong answer, then Moodle will deduct a percentage for the next time that they try. So that's an option. I don't use it. And then this is something that I find really helpful for them. After they finish the first attempt, they can see what their answers were, and they can see their score. And then later, after they've tried it twice, they can go back and see what their score was, but they can't see their responses because I don't want them to give their answers to another student. Okay? So this is to try to help prevent on plagiarism, and I hope we're going to hear a little bit more about plagiarism later on, which I'm really excited about. And then when the quiz is over, when the homework's finished, they can go and see what their answers were, what the correct answers were, and how well they did on it. So it offers them an opportunity to do some review at home prior to any exams or things like that. Lots of other options here. I'm not going to go through them all. I put it into the homework section of my grade book, which is valued at 16%. They get one assignment every week for 16 weeks. And you can give them some feedback if you like. This is a little view of my students. And you can see some of them did pretty well. The green bar indicates a pass. The black bar indicates they did not finish. Or the green bar, sorry, the green bar indicates the score that was taken, the highest score. And this, as you can see, this is the grade book. All of the student scores for all of the assignments are assembled here. And for each one, you can see the grades for each assignment and how well they did. Some of them are doing okay. Some of them are not doing the homework at all. And that's not so good. All right. There are a bunch of different types of questions. This little block indicates a description, so there's some information about how to do the question here. These ones are short answers, fill in the blank sort of ideas. And then this one down here is what's called an embedded answers or cloze question. And I'm going to show you this because this is the best option that works for me. Cloze uses a bit of coding. And the coding kind of looks like this. So you get the question here. There's a dialogue. And where it has the curly brackets, this is the space where the students need to enter their answer. And right inside of that, I've got some information. I've got this question is worth 1 point. It's a short answer style question, 100%, and the answer is I. Okay, there are some other different coding styles you can use for this embedded answers cloze section, but it's really nice because I can put pictures right into the text. I can make it into paragraphs. I find that the short answers or the multiple choice sometimes gets a little bit long and ugly. So this is the most beautiful option, and that's why I use it. This is the Moodle cloze questions coding. It's their own little markup. Yeah, it's not any kind of standard coding that I'm aware of. But it's really easy to learn, so even if you're not good at coding, there is a manual. Like I said, I'm not connected to the internet here, but up here, editing embedded answers cloze. If you click on this little question mark, it'll bring up all the coding for all the different options that you can use inside of a cloze question, and it's certainly worthwhile. So with 70% of my students, I would say at least doing their homework, this saves me hours and hours and hours and hours of marking. It has also, because it has immediate feedback to the students, they can very instantly see what they're getting right and what they're getting wrong. And if they think the computer's wrong, they come and talk to me. They come and they say, what did I do wrong? I don't understand. What was my wrong question? They can't wait for the answers to get posted at the end of the week. They have to find out right away. And so they'll often come to me in class and ask me what they got wrong. And sometimes I missed an answer. Sometimes there's another answer that needs to be included. And that's really easy to fix. That's the nice thing about this. I go in to the cloze code, to the coding. I add another option in the answers box. And then I go here. Where'd you go? I go to one of these windows. Ah. It's missing. Ah, there it is. Okay, so when you're looking at the results, there's a little option here called regrade. You put in the new answer, you save it, you hit regrade, and Moodle goes through and checks all of the answers one more time. And then it'll give you little links on the rechecked answers that you can go and see which students had the right answer but were not given credit for it. And then it upgrades your grade book, and you're finished. So it regrades everything. It regrades everything.
So even the students get, I mean, you did it 2 times,
Mm-hmm.
but if their first answer was correct, but it's not wrong,
Right.
then they will go back and check it and then regrade it even
Right.
the first time.
Right. So, yeah, so the students get the highest cumulative answer. And if there's any problems where I've missed it and they get a lower score the second time than the higher score because of regrading, which doesn't often happen, then I can easily go in and manually regrade something if I have to. So, anyway, it takes a lot less time for me and saves me a lot of headache. Any questions about using the quiz or using it for homework?
I'm just wondering, in the code there, where you had the arguments
Mm-hmm.
for your closed question, did there 100%? Does that mean that you could possibly have more arguments and get partial credit for one answer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In any of the quiz sections, you can assign answers to have, if you have, for example, a short answer question, you might give partial points to this answer, partial points to the next answer, 100 points to this one, however you want to set it up. So you can have multiple answers that are worth a little bit or all or nothing, depending on how you feel.
Also with more than one totally correct answer.
Also allows for more than one totally correct answer. Yeah. So, yes.
Where exactly store this Moodle server on the desktop computer, and is that how you are doing, or you actually use different kind of computers?
I have my own web space that I've purchased. I have a shared server space through an American company. And so I have my website, and then I've just created a subdomain, and I've installed it on there for my students. Hopefully, Mokwon University at some point will start using it on their own. And then the databases for the student registrations will be integrated and save me more headache.
So the size of the program is not that
It's not big, and because I don't have thousands and thousands of students, it's not a large drain on my own server site. But because it's written in MySQL and PHP, which is pretty light and quick code anyway, I really wouldn't be that worried about it.
I wonder whether you are using it, but when I was trying to use this questions,
Mm-hmm.
quizzes, sometimes it connects with database, and if I ask some mathematical questions,
Mm-hmm.
then the data through the database will change, and every student get different, slightly changed properties.
Ah,
So I was just a little bit confusing, so I couldn't understand it very well, so I don't know whether
I'm not sure about using it for mathematics. I'm sure someone's doing it and could give you more information about it.
Look at the quiz that they said it's connected to some database. You should put database in that. It's confusing, so I couldn't understand. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any experience doing it that way, so I can't speak to that. Can anyone else answer him?
Was it actually easy to check whether a student did the honest job or not?
If I want to go through and manually check them randomly or something like that, I can do that. And if I find a couple of students that consistently get the same grade as another student, I might go back and check their logs to see if they're logging in from the same computer, or same router, or something like that. And I have nabbed a few people for plagiaristic activities through using the logs mostly, but not through a whole lot of self-marking it or manual marking. Yeah.
You shuffle the questions, eh?
Sometimes.
From a big bank, do you use like a bank of, say, 100 questions and maybe 20 in it?
Well, this one is not actually a quiz. This is their homework, and it's built off of the workbook that I'm using for the course. So for me, that's not really applicable. But if you were doing quizzes and you wanted to have people in a large room running quizzes at the same time or something, then yeah, getting them randomly chosen from a question bank is totally possible and doable. I don't use it for this activity, but it is possible.
You have to enter each question manually.
There are some ways that you can mass upload questions from different things, but I haven't done it. So,
The gentleman was talking about maybe when you're trying to access a database of
right.
questions, and maybe that might have been what you were saying.
Yeah.
Probably was. However,
Yeah, because you have quizzes, and it connects with database, and you add a lot of information to a lot of database items, and then this quiz connects with database, and you have same format of quiz, and each student comes in, the Moodle gives you different questions.
yeah, it can't. That's an option. Yeah, it's an option to do that.
But it's supposed to be like that, but I didn't understand very well, so I want someone who is using that like that. I want.
Yeah, I don't assign questions randomly. Mine are a set group of questions that I use. I'm actually out of time, overtime here. I'm going to let this go on to the next person. But if you have more questions, I'll be eating dinner, and I'll talk to you there, okay? Okay, next up, Michelle Olison.